What's up, guys? Welcome back to this week's episode of the podcast. Thank you guys so much for the support on last week. It was fantastic. Loads of people watched the episode for a lot more distance than normal, which was a lot more time than normal, which was much appreciated. We had some technical difficulties with the planned guest for this week, so it is what it is. It's just the two of us again. We will get somebody else on, but I just need to pull my finger out my ass and actually sort it more than 3 days in advance. Harry is back, as always. Harry, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. You?
Good. I'm not too bad. All right, this week. Every single year, there are two fixtures or two teams I look for on the calendar. Arsenal and West Ham. I fucking hate this fixture every single year.
Do you want me to remind you of the score last year?
No, I do not. We're going to talk about the West Ham game. I'm not really looking forward to it, but we'll talk about it anyway. In fact, actually, do you know what? We'll talk a little bit about two individual performances I want to talk about. One that will be relevant to the West Ham game and one that won't from the international break. The one that won't be relevant is Vescovic, the centre-half, scored again tonight, played absolutely incredibly, and he's looking like he'll be a real shining star for Tottenham in the future, so I'm really excited for him. The way he leaps, the height, the accuracy, the power from corners is unbelievable. And the other player who played absolutely fantastically during this international break was Pap Sarr. But he played as a 6, and he was sensational.
Who did they play? I don't know. I didn't see it.
I don't know who they played.
I was watching Greece international break, so I wasn't really...
I haven't watched any of it. Not even England, nothing.
4 wins on the trot, guys. 4 wins on the trot.
But yeah, right. That's all I'm going to say. Now we'll talk about the West Ham game. West Ham at the weekend. Fuck me. Well, it's a 12:30 kickoff, so I'll be at work, so that'll be fun.
You might mind missing it if it ends up being really bad anyway.
Yeah. Our record against West Ham is not great at it. Fucking hell. Our record against... I can't stop with a straight face. Our record against West Ham has been poor generally the last couple of years, but especially since we moved stadiums, it's been really, really poor at home.
Lanzini.
Say?
Lanzini. That reminds me of that 3-3.
Lanzini, but that was away from home, wasn't it?
No, didn't we draw 3-3 at the Tottenham Stadium?
I thought it was away from home. Well, you got fucking Antonio, first game in the stadium, and that stupid celebration. The one advantage we do have at the minute is West Ham just don't seem to be... I know they won 4-1 in their last game, but generally this season don't seem to be able to score. And they're not defending to the level that I expected they would either, given the defensive additions that they made. I think it's going to be a tight game. In my head, I'm saying 1-0 to West Ham. I can't believe I do a score prediction already. I'm going to say score prediction. We'll talk about the game. Who gives a shit? I'm going to say 1-0 to West Ham because I've just got that feeling there's going to be a proper 12-30 Spursy performance. Like, we'll never really get control of the game, miss some chances in the first half, concede 35th minute, 38th minute, 39th minute, something like that, and then go down the other end. The second half, batter them. They'll catch on the counter-attack, hit the post, so it'll make it look like they were a bit more dominant than they actually were. We'll dominate the ball again, and we just won't score. That's my assessment. Harry, what do you think? And then we'll actually talk about the actual game.
Well, like you, the 12:30 kickoff, apart from the fact that I get up really early on the Saturday, it's not ideal, especially if we lose. Because
fuck off! You live like 3 train stations from Seven Sisters. What do you mean get up early on a Saturday? You fucking lazy bastard. Anyway,
yeah, I'm a lazy bastard this Saturday morning. Anyway, what I'm saying is like these early kickoffs. It's good and bad. It's good if you win the game, you can relax for the rest of the weekend. If you lose, it's like I'm gonna get a barrage of abuse for about 4 days, probably. Yeah. But I'm not confident for this game because it's West Ham. They tend to play like out their skin against us, and even though they've not really clicked, I'm sure they'll be up for the game. I think it might be a draw just because I don't see them winning, but I don't see us winning either. And the tactics last season, I don't know if Lopetegui watched the way Moyes set up and he might copy it. Like, I don't know because I don't know him that well enough as a manager, Lopetegui. So I don't know. I mean, it could be like Dr. Tottenham, and they just click because it's Tottenham. I'm not confident, to be honest.
I think the thing is with West Ham, there's a lot of pressure on West Ham in a minute to play more attacking football, because the reason why they were told that they were leaving Moyes was to go to more attacking football. Now, anyone who knows Lopetegui knows that wasn't going to be the case.
Yeah.
But in the same sense, it's kind of like, yes, they've been promised more attacking football, but when it's Tottenham away, they don't give a shit as long as they win. So I'm fully expecting 10 men behind the ball.
Yeah, I don't think he'll play attacking, to be honest.
No.
I think it'd be very stupid to anyway. Like, if he watched the tape last season in the game, which I imagine any sane manager would, like, that's what I would do personally. I'd be watching the game last season, especially because we haven't really changed our style at all, as I keep banging on about. I think if I was him, I'd just chuck 10 men behind the ball, chuck whoever is up front, and play long balls and just sit back and just play long balls over the top and hope Van de Ven doesn't get one. I'm quite worried about Van de Ven. If I'm being honest with you, he's played a lot of football, especially that 10-man game with Karabag, which I thought I think it took a lot out of him because he looked quite leggy following games afterwards.
Has he played much in the international break, though?
I don't think so. But I'm just worried in general about him. I just think running him into the ground and he's going to get a bad injury and then we're going to be in trouble. I know Dragusin's there. Some people are speculating in WhatsApp groups, by the way. I know you're not in them, but that because Romero comes back quite late, apparently, on the Thursday or Friday or something like that maybe we'll see Dragusin play with Van de Ven on the weekend.
Van de Ven played 90 minutes in both games.
Did he? Oh, yeah. A left back, I imagine. He plays for left back for Holland a lot.
No, left centre back against Germany and left back against.
Yeah, he plays either side. Yeah.
Hungary, but that was because Van Dijk got a red card in the game against Hungary, so he was pretty much man handling that full left hand side, really.
Yeah, so I'm quite worried about his fitness in general, because the amount of running he has to do is just nuts in this system. Like, it's crazy. And I'm quite worried we're going to burn him out, which is why a lot of Spurs fans wanted like a left-sided centre-half / left back in the summer, because at least you could rest Van de Ven. I know you can argue, people argue and play Davies, but I still need an extra man there as well. So I'm quite worried about his fitness in general. And then you got Romero, who everyone seems to blame for us conceding goals. So,
to be fair, you're talking about Romero coming back late. Dragusin had a really, really solid international break.
Scored in Romania.
He scored, and the run was brilliant, and he was good defensively as well. Looking a lot more composed, a lot more relaxed.
He scored, and I think it was someone else.
Say?
But against Cyprus, he scored.
I don't know. I can't remember.
Yeah.
But I feel like maybe he might get the nod.
Personally, for me, I'm playing Mikey Moore at left wing on against West Ham.
Hold on, let's talk about the defence first. Fuck me, one.
And the defence won't change. Whoever, if he has everyone but there, someone,
you think they'll play
the same 5 anyway. Like,
all right, I want to talk about actually on the topic of the defence before we move on to the rest of the team, and then we'll pick our team. One of the biggest things that concerned me. And we spoke about it at the end of last season, beginning of this season, was about Vicario from set pieces. Now, we both said that he'd improved this season and he looked a bit more confident, and it was marginal, but it was clear to see there was an improvement. He's been slandered on Twitter for a goal that he conceded from a corner in Italy's game, I think Monday night, as we're recording this. So the ball comes into the box, and bearing in mind, there is a defender. Right, for those guys that listen on Spotify, you can't see this. I'm about to do a demonstration. There is a defender literally backed right into him. He's gone to punch the ball as a back's gone into him. He physically has nowhere to go and the ball's gone in. Now, I understand people talking about being weak from set pieces, but let's be honest. You could have fucking Peter Crouch in goal, and if I'm backing into you, I'm the one who's tight and compact. I'm the one with the force. It doesn't matter how strong you are as a goalkeeper, you are not getting anywhere near the ball. If that ball's coming in at arm's reach with me in front of you, and then I'm blocking you back as the balls are reaching the box, you aren't getting anywhere near it no matter what goalkeeper you are.
With that argument is that if you look at the way teams set up against Vicario in the Premier League,
they do it on purpose. But then this is the problem though. I think it's starting to get to the point where it's less about him as a goalkeeper and more about goalies needing more protection from set pieces.
But the problem is they won't do that because
they won't do that because they're fucking idiots.
No, because you're allowed to contest the ball. It's not
I contest the ball, but do you remember when Harry Kane was backing into opponents rather than going for headers, they were going flying over him and he was winning the ball? He was still contesting the ball, but 9 times out of 10, once he got caught doing it, that was given as a foul every time. People would call it red cards, dangerous play, etc. So why is it dangerous play for Kane to have done that in the past in the midfield or in the attack, but not dangerous play for a centre-back to do that under the corner?
When I hate to use this example, but it's the first thing that came to my head. Everyone's going to be using this example. Okay, so we drew 2-2 in 2004 against Arsenal and won the league at the Lane. The penalty we scored with Robbie Keane, if you watch Lehmann and Keane in that sequence, Keane actually pushes a bit back into Lehmann. And Lehmann always had this reputation where he was a bit nuts, just to summarize it quickly. And anyway, so in that phase, he gets pushed back. But his reaction is to move his arms to Keane's face. This.
And then he's been done for touching him in the face rather than...
Yeah. But what I'm saying is, and that was always a big red flag with Lehmann. And I'm thinking that was why a lot of people don't rate him in their best Premier League 11. They say
it's always Seaman over Lehmann.
Exactly. Seaman was always rated as a better keeper than Lehmann because he was a bit nuts. He did some stupid stuff, man. But like Vicario kind of reminds me a little bit of him, but I'm saying Vicario has to learn to deal with it because it's just going to happen.
But this is the problem, though. You put like Courtois. Well, maybe not Courtois because he's 6'6", he's an absolute unit. But if you put any keeper 6'4" or under in that situation, and the player that's backing into them has any sort of remote strength about them, they're never ever getting the ball. They're just not.
They have to do something different then. They're going to have to go around the side or jump higher or punch more. Let
me actually send you the video, right? And you can watch it. Don't play audio. I don't want to get copyright strike. But you can watch it before and tell me what you think. Because I think, honestly, he's making every desperate attempt to win the ball here and to no avail. Let me send you on Twitter. Hold on. Can't believe I'm doing this in the middle of a recording. But don't say we don't love you guys. There you go. Right, I've just sent you it. Watch that. That's the tweet that I quoted it, but watch the corner. People accuse him of flapping hopelessly, but he's literally making he's trying to get around the defender, and the defender blocks him off. There's no way he can get to that.
Hold on, I'm good. Why is he standing in that position?
Because the defender's in the way initially. He's got nowhere else to stand. He can't get any further to the near post.
What the problem is there, right?
Go on.
You need to look at where his hands are before the ball gets crossed.
Okay.
His hands are like this. Like, I don't know what he was thinking.
No, but his hands are on the defender's back to try and stop him pushing into him, which stops his hands getting up to the ball quick enough.
In my opinion, his body shape is wrong. If he was more like
years of goalkeeping experience,
he was more like firm and like standing upright.
No, but what I'm saying, right? So if you're a goalkeeper and you're waiting for a defender to back into you, and he's put his hands out to stop the defender pushing him over, right? By doing that, his hands are 2-second delay in getting up to the ball. And because the defender's in the way, he can't get there.
That's the problem, though, because he has to. The defender's always.
But you can't deal with both. If the defender backs into him and it's not giving him as a foul, and they're forward anyway.
Rather than focus on the defender, focus on where the ball is.
Okay, but let's say the defender backs into you. You're allowed to contest it, so it's not a foul. So we've conceded anyway, or they've conceded anyway.
No, what I'm saying is, he can. In that scenario, it's still going to be the same thing because he can. Even though, say, defender backing into you, right? You can still push out to punch the ball. Like, it's not.
Right, okay. But let's say, no, but what I'm trying to say is, if you're using your hands to give yourself a little bit of space from the defender, and then when the defender backs into you, it's less impactful. If you don't do that and you just go for the ball and the defender pushes into you, your hands are going to go up as the defender's pushing into you because you've not pushed him a little bit further away to start with. There's less distance between his fucking backside and your
in the
battle, if you like.
They don't normally push the defender. They focus on dealing with the ball.
But I think he's pushed the defender to stop the defender out strengthening him, and as a result of that, he's delayed from the corner.
I'm saying he's doing the wrong thing because in that split second that you push the defender when the ball comes in, your body shape by default, in my opinion, is wrong because you're
no, I don't disagree with that. But what I'm saying to you is,
your hands are like this, yeah. And the corner comes in because you're pushing the defender when the corner comes in. By the time the ball comes in, you're gonna have to quickly go like shush.
But what I'm saying to you is the alternative is, let's say he doesn't start that and he starts his hands are higher up. If the defender pushes him over, then he's not going to get to the ball anyway.
He's stronger then because he can't just get pushed over. All the top keepers, they don't get pushed over.
Harry, no offence, right? I know you're not a top goalkeeper, but you probably got more upper body strength than me. If you were stood in goal and I say, well, I'm going to this fella Jack's going to whip the ball in, whoever's going to whip the ball in, and they're whipping the ball in, and I do that, you ain't getting to it no matter what you do. You know, no physical strength is going to stop that.
Problem is, we're talking about people who go to the gym like 50 times a day and who are like meant to be strong players. Like these are professional footballers, not.
Yeah, but if you okay, but I like using the foot like a brick wall. If you're a goalkeeper and you build yourself like a brick wall, you're never going to have the agility to move for the ball quick enough.
But I'm saying, if you expect me to back into Vicario, I'll be embarrassed if I was Vicario and I fell over from that personally. But if I was back into him and he suddenly goes,
the way people do it by lifting their shoulders up into the player's chest, you can't help it.
I've been watching a lot of old games, just out of curiosity recently, and I watched the keepers, and then I'm like, these keepers back in the day were way more like men, and they were there for the fight, yeah. Especially because Vicario does all this crap. Oh, and everyone says praise him because he shouts at the defenders or whatever. Like, you go out and you deal with the ball, man. Like, I think pushing the defender in that scenario, in my opinion, is wrong because it delays your reaction time to the ball coming in, personally. And why would keepers that deal with these situations, they just focus on the ball.
Okay, then, so not from, obviously, because that was the Italy game we're talking about, so it's not relevant to Spurs, but do you think, then, Tottenham should be putting a player on whatever defender is targeting Vicario?
But we were doing that, weren't we?
Not enough.
But
we did it for one game and then that was it.
After the City game, I thought they were doing it, weren't they? Because they noticed City put the player on Vicario, remember?
It was inconsistent. It wasn't every corner.
I know, but most corners I remember. Because I sat there and watched it because I was like, because obviously there was massive complaints after that game. Everyone was like, they put someone on him. Why is Ange not changing it? And eventually, he did put someone like Madison. I think it was Madison that was with them. Players
but that's not going to put. No offense, right? If you, because he's kind of from whichever corner you're crossing in, he's almost at the near post anyway. Whatever centre back is at the near post, put them on that defender who's parallel with. Who stood in front of Vicario, and their job is to get between the two and be a protective shield. Just stand there like a wall, stand there. So if the defender pushes into you, or the attacking player pushes into the defender, it's a foul. And if they don't push into the defender, Vicario's got free run across his goal to make the save.
Who's doing this? Who's doing this? Let's stop doing it then. If this is a solution.
Well, I don't know. I'm not. Listen, the one thing I don't deal with on Football Manager. You knew I was going to get the reference in, is deal with set pieces. I hire someone to do it for me. Take note, Tottenham.
So what's Ange doing then? He says they're not a problem, remember last season.
But unless Ange feels that if we commit that number to protecting Vicario, then... But I think we only need to do it for 6 to 8 games, and then after that, they'll stop trying to attack him again.
One extra player, though. It's not even like we're saying put 2 men with Vicario and the defender.
Bodyguards. Bulletproof vests.
Yeah, exactly.
It'd be like the 2 lads from fucking Hot Fuzz stood in front of Vicario trying to protect him. Oh, mate, that was so funny. But yeah, I don't know. It's just... I don't know. Anyway, so that was the defence. I just wanted to talk about the Vicario thing.
Midfield. I think we know midfield 3A already anyway.
Yeah, I think for a game like West Ham, I think the midfield has to be...
I would be tempted to play Bentancur, Bissouma, Kulusevski personally, but
Kulusevski's got to be one of them.
I think you have to play Bentancur and immediately either Bissouma or Sarr because I just think
I would play Sarr because he was so good in the international break and his energy and athleticism.
I just think Madison's going to get eaten in this game if he plays.
Yeah. See, if I was going to do it, so I would either go Basuma, Sarr, Kulusevski or Bentancur, Maddison, Kulusevski. If we're going with Maddison, you have to have Bentancur because he's a little bit more
I think
defensively
Benzema has to play
mindset.
in every single scenario, in my opinion, because he's our best six. That's not really a six.
No, but the reason why I'm saying, because if you're going with Sarr, I think you need Basuma to add a bit more creativity. If you're going with Bentancur, then you can afford to have Maddison because he will protect Maddison more than what Basuma will.
I don't know. I'd be tempted to play Bentancur, Basuma, and Kulusevski, or Bentancur, Sarr, and Kulusevski personally, but that's just my opinion. Because I'd want more stronger players in there. But I think despite what we say, he'll go with Bentancur, Kulusevski, and Maddison because we all know what
yeah, he will, yeah.
Going to do. But my front three, are we going to go to that or not?
Yeah.
For me, it has to be more Solanke and Johnson.
I'm going to disagree, and I'm not saying Werner's the answer, but Mickey Moore's not ready starting. Right, I'm going to go on
about
now. I've had 2 weeks to talk about this.
I play you at left wing at this point.
Yes, come on. I'll put it in on finesse to the far post.
I think you're hitting better than Werner.
Mate, to be fair, I could have scored that one that he scored. My mate's got a penalty in, or a guy I've followed on Twitter, he's a Chelsea fan, he scored a penalty in Sunday League. And I saw it on Instagram and I replied going, I'm a great scout. I found my Werner replacement. He went, and never am I putting on that white shirt. You can fuck off. I said, to be fair, at least you've been missing on purpose. Werner misses because he's shit. No, so, right, listen, I've had 2 weeks channeling this now. This is great. Any Tottenham fan listening to this, listen closely. Mikey Moore is not ready to play 90 minutes in the Premier League against an opposition we always lose against. He's just not. And here are my reasons why. Europa League level, he was fantastic, right? And I think he's really got... He needs to start racking up the goals and assists, but he's still only young. But they do need to start slowly creeping in, even if it's one assist every other game to start with. I do think he's confident. He needs to be a bit more composed on the ball, but again, that comes with experience and confidence. I think he looks a little nervous on the ball. When he came on against Man United, apart from that chance he had that he almost put it to the far post, there were a lot of times where he was too scared to play that risky pass and he was playing the safe pass. Now, as a youngster, normally I would say that's fine. But if you look at the way our wingers play in this system, they have to take that chance pass. They have to have that confidence and that instinct to go, fuck it, whip it. One of the biggest things we said about Brennan Johnson the back of the last season was he takes too much time to think, and by the time he's thought about it, he's fucked it up. This season, in terms of his goal scoring recently, touch wood, that continues, and the last season with his assists, when he got the assist last season, the minute he got the ball in his right foot, he was just whipping it to the far post. And he got tap-ins, and actually Werner scored one of them, ironically. And then you look at his goals this season, again, at the back post, he's making those runs. He's peeling off the defenders. That instinct is there. Mikey Moore just hasn't, and it's not through no fault of his own. It's not because he's not going to be a great player for Tottenham. It's not because he's not a fantastic talent for his age. People think I'm some sort of hater. He just hasn't got that at the level required to beat West Ham at home in a London derby. He just hasn't yet. I'm not saying that 12 months from now, if he starts playing 90 minutes in the Europa League and he plays all the way and we make it to the final, God forbid, and he gets semi-final, final, game time, 90 minutes all the way up, I'm not saying that's not possible. And I'm not saying by the end of the season he won't be the God's honest answer. But right now, he's just not Premier League ready. He's not. And I'm not hating on the kid. I think he's fantastic. I think he's a baller. I think he'd be great for Spurs in the future. But I saw enough in that game against Man United, apart from that split moment where he finessed it to the far post, he was too nervous on the ball. He was playing too many safe passes, too many safe risks, and he wasn't looking to do what our wingers need to do, and that's drive forward with the ball. As shit as Timo Werner might be, the minute he sees a goal, I'm not saying I want him to start, by the way, Harry. Get your head out of your fucking hands.
Mate. Who else are you playing on the left wing?
2 seconds. Just one thing Werner can do is he can pick the ball up and he can drive forward with it, and that puts us in good positions. Can he finish? Absolutely fucking not. Can he play a good pass when he gets there? Absolutely not. Does he shit himself every time he sees the goal? Absolutely. But at least he's getting us there. I haven't seen anything from Mikey Moore to suggest that he can, at this level, he's done it at the under 18s or in the 90s or whatever youth level he's playing. He did it the other night. He did it for England under 21s the other night. But have I seen him at the top level pick that ball up, drive forward with it, whip that ball across the box and then score from it? No. And I'm not saying that he won't do that if he's given more opportunities. He probably will. But again, against this team, in this game, after the way we lost against Brighton, we cannot afford to lose again. There is no doubt in my mind that we cannot, and I still think we're going to lose, but there's no doubt in my mind. there's no doubt in my mind that anything less than a win is unacceptable.
Do you think they'll go for his head if we lose that game?
I think so, yeah. We've lost to Arsenal already at home. We lose to West Ham at home. We haven't played Chelsea yet.
She'll go on to England now. I don't know how many games.
Right, so now on the topic of the left wing, because now Harry's like, well, you're not going to play Werner. Who the fuck are you going to play?
There's no one else. That's the problem. There's no one else.
I'm going to tell you who, and you're not going to like it. I would play Destiny Udogie at left wing.
Why play Spencer left back?
I'd play Ben Davies at left back.
No.
Listen. Hear me out. Actually, no. I take that back. I play Van der Ven at left back.
So you playing in the middle, Dragusin with Romero?
So I would play Vicario, Van der Ven, Romero, Dragusin, Porro. No, actually, no, I wouldn't. I'd play Vicario, Spence, Van der Ven, Romero, Porro, Bentancur, Sarr, Kulusevski, Udogie, Solanke, Johnson.
See, the problem with your idea is he's never going to do that. He's never going to play Udogie left.
No, of course he's not. But I'll tell you what I would play.
I have more chance of St. Mike and Moore left wing, really.
No, he's just not ready. And I think the one thing with Udogie, everyone's complained about his defensive problems in the last couple of months, which is fair game. I think one Spencer's deserved to start if we need a left back option.
Yeah.
But I just think
he's done all right when he's come on. Spence.
Yeah, I think with Udogie, if Udogie can play high and wide, whipping that cross, I've got no issue with him being the one putting the balls in.
Anyway, so
yeah, and I think Solanke and Johnson would benefit a lot more from his delivery than Werner.
I mean, Werner, I think they benefit more from us than Werner, to be honest. But
I'm fully waiting for the comment going, but when I said about paying Pedro Porro right wing last season, when Johnson couldn't score...
At least you read my mind. So.
Yeah, see, I knew that. I was waiting for the comment. I thought I'd jump in and preempt you. But I think that would give us our best chance of winning, personally.
Yeah, but you still think we're going to lose?
Yeah, I still think we're going to lose, yeah.
Right, we have to win, but we're going to lose.
We have to win, but we're going to lose. Of course, that's the Spurs way, man.
Spurs, isn't it, really? Have you seen that TikTok of that woman talking about, like, after United, she knew we were going to go live in Brighton? Have you seen that?
No, I haven't, but it was a surprise.
It's hilarious. It's actually hilarious. And I saw it on Twitter because someone put it on Twitter. I couldn't stop laughing when I saw it. It was so Tottenham, the way she described it.
This is why I'm glad I don't do TikToks the way I used to, because the way I used to run, I don't need another one of those fucking videos going viral.
Somewhere. It was so funny, man. I couldn't stop laughing.
So what's your 11 then? I've given you mine. Mine, Vicario, Spence, Van der Ven, Romero, Porro, Bentancur, Sarr, Kulusevski, Udogie, Solanke, Johnson. What's yours?
Vicario, Porro, Udogie, Van der Ven, and Romero. I don't really want to break that back.
I hope it's not in that order.
No, you know what order
all right.
You're saying the same five. Sorry. Okay. And then Bentancur, Bissouma, Kulusevski with my three personally.
Yeah.
And then I'd go with Moore, Solanke, and Johnson. That's my three.
Okay. Basic bits, conventional.
Because at least we have like a really solid base with like that three in midfield. Because I have more faith in someone like Kulusevski holding it than Maddison. But a lot of people will just say Maddison because he's been.
Okay, question: would you play Maddison at the left wing?
I'd be tempted to, but again, he will never do that. I don't think. Would he?
Because obviously he played there quite a bit for Leicester.
Yeah. I'd put him there, but I don't know if Andrew would.
Oh, fair enough. Well, I'm just going to put Udogie a fucking left wing either, so you know.
But the thing is because I think he goes for more like winger types. I guess I don't know how to say it.
Yeah.
I know he put Kulu on the right, but I think that was a massive mistake. I banged on last season about it.
He hasn't put Kulu on the right since he played here in the middle and he started playing
on every stream and saying playing in the middle. Like literally every time I go on last season, I'll bang on the same thing. It became a meme at some point. I remember. I was just saying. Someone's like, I didn't get Harry Teeter saying Kudo in the middle because I was talking about it every single week.
To be fair, actually, when we in pre-season, when we played him in the false 9 role, because obviously we didn't know what was going on with signing another striker, he played really well in the false 9 as well.
He did, because I mean at Juve he played there with Ronaldo, and he played in the 10 as well, and he played. I like his new position a lot though, the hybrid role, because he's a bit like Dembele in that way.
He gets to do a little bit of everything, really.
But in this game, I kind of want more strength in there than Maddison. I mean, maybe we'll play Maddison on the left wing. That's not a bad idea. I'd do that, but I just don't know if he would.
If he would, yeah. Well, to be fair, he's probably more likely to do that than fucking play.
Because Maddison, I think, on the left would have a bit more. I mean, he drifts to the left anyway, like in the Brentford game. So maybe we give him a bit more room to kind of put in crosses for Solanke.
Yeah. So he becomes more of a creative option out wide than a pace option out wide.
What I think he would do, he might drop off a bit, and then maybe Adogi would take that spot anyway, or he would pull out wide, and then Adogi would. I mean, he would be inverted anyway. On the right, at least I give credit to Ange is that he's been a bit more rotational with Porro and Johnson's positions compared to last season. Porro's taking a bit more wide positions, I've noticed, compared to last season. And I think, touch wood, because obviously Johnson has goal scoring streak, and I hope it carries on Saturday morning.
Did you see that guy who tweeted ages ago saying that after the game before Coventry that he was going to go on a 10-game goal scoring streak, and he's on 7 so far?
No, I haven't seen that. No.
So if he scores against West Ham, then I'm putting a bet on Johnson to score.
I guess he's manifested it, so good on the guy. But my biggest worry with our team, though, just in general, after watching the Brighton game, is the mentality of the players.
Yeah.
Like, there's no.
I feel like we're sat here the same thing with what I've known you God knows how many years. I think we're sat here with having the same thing again. It can't. Right, this is my thing. It can't be a player problem. So many
youngster players and not have experienced heads around them.
But it can't. Right, but this is what makes me say it can't be. We had a team with a balance of youth and experience, and mentality was the problem. We brought back a 4 times Champions League winner, whatever, God knows what La Liga winner. And the problem was still mentality. Now we've got a mixture of youth and experience. The problem is mentality.
Are you talking about players or managers here? I'm a bit confused.
I'm talking about Bale in that situation.
Bale? Yeah, but Bale's not that kind of player, though. It's not the same thing.
No, but his mentality is still a winning mentality. What I'm trying to say...
Jose didn't even win him. Let's be honest.
What I'm trying to say, though, is the team that we had under Poch that almost won the league, almost won the Champions League, it was a mentality problem to get us over the line.
2 free players away from winning it.
Yeah, but hold on a second. It was a mentality problem, I'd say, still. You look at the Battle of the Bridge, you look at the cup games we lost, whatever. It was a mentality problem, the reason why we didn't get over the line. Then you look at the Jose. I know Jose never got to finish the final, but again, one of the reasons it fell off was mentality. The players weren't willing to work as hard defending as they were scoring, so we started dropping back until eventually we were just leaking goals and not scoring at all. Conte, again, mentality problem. Granted, he was a cunt, but still mentality problem.
He's still right, though.
Then, current situation, we're sitting there talking about mentality problem. Is it the players, or is this shirt cursed?
Cursed. I think it's a bit of both, to be honest. I do think we're cursed, sort of.
Could you, right, let me ask you this question. Give me an honest, actual, physical answer here, right? And if your answer is yes, I'm going to call you a liar anyway. If you put the entire Manchester City squad and Pep Guardiola in a Spurs shirt, do you think we'd still fail to win a trophy? Still win a trophy?
No, I think we would have been some.
So you think we would win one or wouldn't?
We would. I think.
I don't think we would.
No, I think
I seriously believe there is some sort of... Well, I'm going to sound like a bare conspiracy theorist here, but I feel like there is some sort of eternal force surrounding our football club since that bold bastard has been in charge that...
You mean Voldemort?
Just makes it impossible to win anything.
Oh, Voldemort. I just call him Voldemort now because I've just got vision. So he's done 7 Horcruxes.
Harry, do you want to go Horcrux? Hey, Harry, you're the chosen one. Let's go Horcrux hunting to fucking kill Voldemort.
Yeah. But it does stem from the top for me because the standards of the club are just very low. I mean, we always do enough to be in and around 4th to 6th.
We do enough to be deemed competitive, but not enough to be deemed challengers.
We talk about the same stuff. We talk about similar level players. I hate to say it that way. We get the odd world-class player every so often, but normally get with the same sort of level players. We buy young players, try to develop them because they still make a bit of dosh later down the line. because the policy hasn't changed, the transfer policy hasn't changed, which people were saying to me was going to change when we stayed. It hasn't really changed. The type of players we sign profile hasn't changed. And Levy, like, there's no, when Abramovich was at Chelsea, the players were scared of him because if he rocked up in his whatever car he had, I can't remember now. People were like, "Shit, he's here." Like, what am I going to do? Because Abramovich came to Chelsea to win. Let's be honest. Who's the owners of City? I forgot their names now. Whatever they are, they came there to win. Sir Alex
to do it, by the way, but still,
Sir Alex. I mean, came there to win. I can't remember the owners at the time. Even Arsenal under David Dean and Arsene Wenger back in those days, they came there to win. You look at FSG. I know a lot of Liverpool fans don't like FSG, but they were clearly there to.
No, see, I'll disagree with you about FSG because I know a lot more about Liverpool than I wish I did, and I know a lot more about the ins and outs of the running of their club. And Liverpool owners don't give a shit about Liverpool. They just care about Red Sox. A lot of the extra revenue generated for Liverpool is poured into baseball.
The Van Dijk, the Alisson.
Yeah, no, but if you look at that, they came as a result of sacrificing Coutinho.
I know, but at the same time, like, they kind of back Klopp. You can't say they didn't. They got Mane.
You can't because that would be like saying that'd be like saying we backed Ange by selling his best player and buying two other players to fill two more important positions.
6 youngsters or whatever it was.
No, but we signed Mickey Van der Ven, who was a much needed centre back, and we signed
who else? No one else really.
Solanke was this year. Fuck.
We signed a bunch of youngsters, really. Again.
All right. No, we signed Vicario. We need a new goalkeeper. I don't know it's not the same amount of money.
Not like essential stuff. Not like.
But at the time for Liverpool, a goalkeeper and a centre back was essential stuff. They sold their best player at the time and bought two.
For us, it was essential because Lloris was like done, mate. And then obviously
Liverpool had Karius and fucking.
Yeah, but it wasn't. I would argue those positions, even though. You could.
You can't tell me it wasn't essential for Liverpool to get a goalkeeper.
They didn't have to buy a goalkeeper. It's just they went and bought the best keeper they could get.
Right, do me a favour. Go back and watch the Champions League final, Liverpool versus Real Madrid, when Bale scored the overhead kick, and tell me Liverpool didn't need a goalkeeper.
You're misunderstanding the point. Karius wasn't on his last legs, yeah? He was
Karius was... Okay, no offence. I would rather have had Lloris on his last legs than had Karius after that Champions League final.
But you're not understanding the point. We had to buy centre-back. Like, it was literally like do or die for us at that point.
I mean, it wasn't. We could have kept Tanganga and played him if we were really that bothered.
Tanganga was done, man. His injuries killed him. Like, he was never going to play Tanganga.
No, but what I'm saying to you is if we really wanted to, we could have done.
It's like Son now. Like, the guy's about cooked, man, and we haven't signed anyone.
Because it's the middle of the fucking season. We can't sign anyone outside of the transfer window.
Until we leave it to the very, very, when it's absolutely essential to buy someone. Liverpool, I don't get me wrong, you're saying it in the sense that it was essential if they want to win something, they just buy someone. That's how I see it personally. They could have easily carried on another 2-3 years of Karius and goal. They wouldn't have won anything, but they didn't actually.
They would have got relegated.
Okay, they wouldn't, but they didn't need to buy a keeper. With us, they got to the point where Lloris was literally leaving.
I disagree. They needed to buy a keeper, but for different reasons. But they still needed to buy a keeper.
But to be semi-competitive, no. Like, they could have kicked Karius.
No, they did. They really did. You cannot tell me. You cannot watch that Champions League final and tell me that they could have handled
Karius, though. I could say they got there with Karius. I'm not saying I rate him, by the way. I'm just saying, like, they got there with Karius. They were competitive.
No, they got there because they outscored their opponent, not because the goalie was any good.
They were still a competitive team. They were just like us, be almost there, but not there.
I think you're giving that Liverpool team before Van Dijk and Alisson too much credit. I'm
just saying they were the same position where we were under Poch, yeah? I hate to say it that way, but it's the only way I can describe it because we would always get to this point and then we'd lack like the extra...
Okay, so let me ask you this question then. If you could have rolled back the years and gone back to that Poch year, would you have sold Kane at 200 million to go and buy two £80 million players?
No, but Kane didn't want to leave at the time.
No, but I can't use an example. It's not my fault Coutinho wanted to leave and Kane didn't. Okay, let's say Man City had a bid for Kane.
After we finished third, we signed Janssen, Sissoko, including Paul Lopez, who you lovely reminded me of the other day. And
you'll never let that go, are you?
Spending money on Batshuayi, Mane, who went to the training ground, by the way, and Wijnaldum we were linked with as well. Like three players
that summer as well.
Would have been a great backup / competition for Kane. great wing we needed at the time to play on the other wing, and he had Son and Mane on the wings and Kane up front, and then obviously Wijnaldum, who Poch really wanted actually. Instead, we got like Z choices because Sissoko was like last minute.
I don't disagree with that, but what I'm saying to you is when
so
Liverpool were in the same position,
because Mane's issue was the wages, and you probably know the issue was the wages. Wijnaldum was quite similar / fee.
Wijnaldum was the fee. We wouldn't pay the $5 million. Then after he went to Liverpool, we paid the $5 million for Sissoko.
That's why Paul Mitchell walked, because he'd done all that work. He went to leave and he was like, "Fuck off."
Okay, but what you got to remember though is you're talking about a team that was perfect, that needed a bit of investment to get over the edge. Liverpool weren't quite there, but they cut off an arm to sell that arm for spare parts to give them the money to improve the rest of the body. They were still without the arm. They still sold Coutinho.
Coutinho wanted to leave though. You can't just hold him for ransom.
You fucking can. Daniel Levy's an example of that, so don't chat shit to me saying
you can't keep playing. What happened to Modric that season? He was miserable. He played the season.
I'd be miserable playing for Spurs these days and all, to be fair.
But still, listen. And he wanted to go to Chelsea or a top team. He was fed up of like
mediocrity.
I'm not winning anything. Let's just put it that way. And Levy forced him to stay another year, and he was sold to Madrid for actually a bit less. Then he was going to
No, but like I still think you're down. I still think you're over. I don't know how we got to a debate about FSG here, but
for me, they can't have been, because everyone bangs on about this. For us, this Champions League team that got to the final, we were amazing and blah blah. Even though I'd argue our run was a lot of it was luck. But Liverpool,
you make your own luck sometimes, though.
2 finals in a row. Bear in mind, not just one. And they had other semi-finals, and didn't they get Europa League final as well? I think.
Yeah, got Europa League final, got to League Cup final.
Then they get there, and then they would be like a few players short.
Yeah, but no offense. That team in the first year.
I would argue that Lovren, because obviously when I bought Van Dijk, right? I'm not saying Lovren's the best defender, by the way, before anyone shoots me.
Please be very, very careful what you say, because otherwise this getting clips and going on TikTok.
He wasn't the best defender in the world, but they could have been semi-competitive with him still being there.
I'm tagging every single Scouse person I know in this once this podcast is done.
Hanging off the clangers, right? But because they went and bought Van Dijk, you were like, because when they bought Alisson Van Dijk, I was like, Liverpool's serious here. They're going to win a title.
Right. You're saying Coutinho wanted to go, and that's fair enough. But the two squads you're comparing are different, because we had no arm to sacrifice to finance the final changes to get us over the line, and Levy wasn't prepared to dip into his own pocket. In the same way, FSG weren't prepared to dip into their own pocket, but because a player actively wanted to leave that was worth a ridiculously overpriced fee, they had a chance to make the changes and not take any money out of their own paycheck.
I'd argue Coutinho was more replaceable than, let's say, someone like Kane going for us at the time.
Obviously, but I'm using as an example.
That's just I'm just saying they would still got to these number of finals, but like we did under Poch, we got to these semi-finals and two semi-finals, one final in the Carling Cup, if you remember, in his first season.
Yeah,
the Champions, we're always there, but never just there. And Liverpool was the same as us; they would get into finals, semi-final, whatever. And then they needed that extra, and then that summer anyway, they went and bought Keita. There's a list of players they bought Keita.
Yeah, but Keita was crap for them. That's a bad example.
But he did a good job for 2 years for them. And then a lot of other players they signed that summer, you were like, Liverpool going to win. They were serious.
I still think, right, from someone who knows someone who's a Liverpool fan, seasons ago or whatever, whenever I have a conversation with him about FSG, he says the same thing all the time. FSG got lucky with Klopp, and they put across a persona that they wanted to be competitive and that they were prepared to invest their own money, when in actuality, what was invested into Liverpool was from sales or a minimum transfer budget you had to give a team like Liverpool every year. It wasn't this. Liverpool's net spend wasn't
extortionate,
absurd. It's more than ours, but Wickham's is more than ours. Do you know what I mean? Maybe not quite, but you know what I mean.
Maybe, I don't know.
Probably not, actually, to be fair, after the summer they had. But yeah, I just think, I don't even know how we got into this conversation. Talking about ownership, I just think FSG are closer to our ownership than they are to Liverpool, than they are to Man City, Man United even.
What I'm trying to say is the difference is they're willing to buy established players more than us. That's what I'm trying to say. Van Dijk was established, Alisson was established. Instead, no offense to your mate, but Johnson wasn't really established. You knew he was going to come in and do it straight away. Same with Archie Gray, Lucas Bergvall. All these other youngsters we signed this summer.
Let me ask you this question.
I don't even know what that was.
Right, I've admitted I was wrong about Werner. Stop mentioning it. It's not fair. All right, I said I was wrong once. I'm not going to do it again. Let me talk about those other youngsters for a second, because 4, 5, 6 years ago, I don't know, we had a conversation about the fact that Spurs would never go and sign a player before the big move. So, right, for example, there's some Spanish guy who's at Atletico Madrid who Chelsea wanted to sign. They haven't signed him. He went to Porto. He scored 4 goals in the Spanish under-21s the other day, in the first half, by the way, and he's absolutely killing it for Porto. He's going to be going worth a crap ton. Like next year, he'll go for 100 million. Look at Gokares, for example. Give me 2 seconds, because I feel like I know what you want to say, but give me 2 seconds. Gokares, for example, Championship, 25 million, now going to be sold for at least 100 million. You sit there all the time and you sit there and say, Spurs need to be in it before your Brightons and whoever are selling, like buying players for 10 million, having one good season, selling them for 100 million, and then we're charged 100 million pounds for a player when we could have just been patient for a year developing and get a player. The amount of times you've turned around and said that, well, you don't want Spurs to ridiculously overpay for players. We should scout players. We should scout players.
The wrong person.
No. You said this. You said this before. You said this before.
Because I want to win the title.
Yeah, but you've also turned around and said that you don't want us to be going and spending money. And I know for a fact you said this before. I will go back through every fucking video until I find it if I have to. I know for a fact you've turned around and said before that you don't want to be a Man United going and spending £100 million on a player that could have been bought 2 moves earlier for £20 million.
No, I've never said that.
I'm absolutely certain you've said that.
I think you're thinking about someone else.
No, I'm not. You're the only person I talk to about Spurs. So
half years, what I've been saying is like I want us to sign established players, not youngsters.
But you can't have both. You can't just buy established players, because eventually those established players are going to go beyond the age bracket, and you're going to need the next generation of players in.
You buy maybe one youngster, if that.
Okay, let me ask you this question. We spent £35 million on Pedro Porro, right?
Yeah, I think it was 40, wasn't it?
All right, £40 million on Pedro Porro, whatever. Let's say we didn't, and he went back to Man City for the release clause they could buy him back for, and then let's say 2 years later, we sign him for £120 million. Would you have rathered spend £120 million on him, or got him 2 years earlier and have to actually put a bit of effort in developing a player and have a player that's worth 100? Because if Porro was sold tomorrow, he would sell for at least 100 million.
No, I'm talking. I think we'll go for like 60, 70, personally.
No, at least 100 million. And I'll tell you why. Because there are very, very few right-backs in the world right now capable of doing what he's doing. And one of them is Trent, whose contract's almost up.
I don't really rate Trent personally. I think he's all right, but anyway.
No, but in terms of what an attacking right-back should offer, Porro is up there with one of the only ones that can offer that level.
Defensively isn't that great, though, Trent. I watch him, I'm just like, you go walkies too much.
Sometimes you really miss the point, and it really fucking pisses me off.
Trent just goes walkies too much.
No, but it's not.
Did you not see Roy Keane's comments on Trent Alexander-Arnold? I'm sorry, Roy Keane knows what he's talking about, man.
Listen, I love Roy Keane, but at the end of the day...
He knows what he's talking about. The guy's not a good defender.
I mean...
What I'll tell you is, in your scenario, I was like, we're going to play like guarantees to be a top right back. That'll be my answer. The problem is we buy players and we think, oh, he might be good. Okay,
do me a favour. If it's not Trent, name me one right back in the world right now that you can say is in better form and can offer more than Porro.
Pick any of Arsenal's centre halves that play right back. Pick any of Arsenal's centre halves that play right back. Timber.
Sorry?
Ben White.
You've just... Right. My question wasn't, find me a centre-half that can play it right back. My question was, find me an actual right back, a right wing back, an attacking right wing back. Don't say Ben White, or I swear to God, I'll end the podcast right now. Fuck you. Name me an attacking right wing back right now who is better than Pedro Porro.
Mate, no one plays a gung-ho football apart from Ange.
Okay, Conte's a manager, plays a back three, wants an attacking right back. He's got Pedro Porro. Name me one right back in the world, apart from Trent, that he would swap Porro for.
Kyle Walker.
Are you joking? Kyle Walker couldn't put a cross in a fucking polling box. Are you having me on?
Kyle Walker's still one of the best right backs in the league. Man.
He's not. Oh my God, do you even watch football? Oh, have you watched Kyle Walker try and defend? My 10-year-old brother could defend a fucking cross better than him.
Porro's not good defensively either.
He's still better than Walker at the moment.
I don't know about that. Walker's had experience playing centre half as well. Don't forget.
Oh, but Porro doesn't play centre half.
No, what I'm saying is by default because he can play there, right? He's defensively better than Porro.
Right, I'm going back onto West Ham because this is horrific, and we need to say this for another week. Anyone listening to this with half a brain cell understands what I'm saying. Thank you very much. Please leave it in the comments. If you
don't agree with it. No.
Oh, fuck off. Right, this is why you guys love this show because we're just chat till we can't chat no more. Right.
But like for me, I want like what I'm saying is my argument is that Spurs don't go and buy established players because we're always thinking about what I always hear about Tottenham is in the future, blah blah blah.
We don't buy established players, but I think the gap between what you would deem established and a player just before established, price-wise, there's a huge gap. Yes, not as much experience, yes, not as much quality, but that gap is too much to pay for someone who's 1 year, 1.5 year, 2 years further developed. It's just too much. I'm sorry. I would never ever agree with Spurs going and signing a 26-year-old for 100 million if we could have got them at 24 for 50 million. I would never agree with that. It's stupid.
Okay, I'll give you an example. What if we signed Gyökeres now?
It's too much money. We should have signed him. We should have taken a chance on him.
If we knew that he was going to score like 40 goals for us this season.
But you can't know. Well, what if I knew he was going to tear his ACL in the first week and never be the same player again? You can't say that because you don't know it.
But what you have to talk about the probabilities, though. The probabilities of him scoring X number of goals compared to, say, a youngster coming in is like a way higher.
No, but what I'm saying, we've already got Solanke. So, right.
I gave Gyökeres off the top of my head because you mentioned him. It could be another player. I'm just saying because, you said Gyökeres. So, because Oz fans are like craving him so bad. Like Isak for me is like top striker, man. I'll go and sign him right now. 100 million. Put them.
Well, we've already agreed on that. That's probably the one thing we have agreed on so far. Yeah, I'm not going to get into that debate.
Like for me, okay, I hate this example, but I'm going to just say it. Seabra, Arsenal, 100 million. Go buy him right now.
It'd never happen, though, would it?
It would never happen. Stupid.
Okay, but my argument would have been if we'd have bought Saliba 3 years ago, we could have spent 30 million, and he had all the qualities.
What does that make to my life?
Say,
what difference does that make to my life? In the 2 years Saliba spent out on loan, we could have lost Kane at the time, Son at the time. By the time he comes in the team, this is the problem. By the time he comes into the team, we have to fix some other problem. So it's like, well, so for me...
Hi, Levy. No, we're not Man City, but Harry seems to think we are. All right, no worries. Thank you very much.
Once they made a comment that people seem to miss every time, he said Spurs, every winner should sign 2 to 3 established players, 60, 70 million.
Your definition of established, my definition of established, Daniel Levy's definition of established are 3 different things.
I know, that's why
and the fact that we can't establish a middle ground suggests we should just move on and wrap this up.
Instead of going every summer like we did, buying the Greys, the Lucas Bergvall.
Listen, Archie Gray's going to be one of the best sixers in the country in I'm not going to say it.
Yeah, by the time he's this level, Van der Ven and Romero won't be here. That's the point I'm trying to make. So we, instead of going every summer, buying, say, for example, instead of dropping where we did all these youngsters this summer, we went and bought Eze, Solanke, and I'm trying to think who else we were linked with that was like really established. Because
we weren't, but
that's something. And another player, I don't know. So say instead of saying buying all these youngsters, when a proper 6, I don't know, say Paulinho or something. Yeah. I'm just throwing a name out because I'm trying to think of it.
Paulinho who runs slower than a granny with a shopping cart. No problem, mate. Right, this is the problem. You throw out names. Right, I'm going to absolutely slander you now here.
Let me finish.
The problem is you use the word established to justify any player with experience without taking into account the fact that they do actually have to fit the system. If Paulinho fit the system for the price he went for, would we have signed him? The answer is yes, but he doesn't.
It's just let me finish. Just an example. It could have been another 6.
It's a bad example if it doesn't fit.
Edison at Atalanta. That Paratici, by the way, recommended to us. Just so you know. So we've got Edison
for sure. Okay. Harry's taking advice from criminals now.
Yes, criminals. Edison, Eze, and instead of finding Solanke, we went and bought Gyökeres. I don't know. Always signed Solanke as the third one. That's just for example. And then the leftover money we had, we bought like one of Gray or Odegaard or whoever other youngsters I can't think was signed. And we didn't sign Werner. Thank God we didn't sign Werner. That's why we will never signed him. And so we did that window, right? And then the next window we did something similar again. We signed 2 or 3 other players of that ilk, and then one youngster. I would be like,
but do you not think? Okay,
because what Liverpool did very well is they build their 11 first, and then after that they sprinkled stuff around it.
But we're doing the opposite, though. Do you not think we're getting the youngsters that we want when they're available, and then we'll go and fill in the gaps with first-team starters next year?
I've been a Tottenham fan too long to know this is where this is going to go. Next time we'll find a load more youngsters.
Considering we've wasted 55 minutes of everyone's time and we haven't actually really spoken about the West Ham game, we really need to wrap this up.
Don't worry, guys.
I said 1-0 loss, Harry. 1-0 loss. I said 1-0 loss. Harry, what's your score prediction?
1-1.
Okay.
I'm negative, don't worry.
Two players you could take from the West Ham squad, if you would. Who would you take?
Antonio, just so he stops scoring against us.
Oh, no. I hate that prick. Yeah, go
on. And
actual sensible answers, because Antonio better not be one of your answers. Souček, yeah.
I really like him.
Man's picked the most Brexit player you can think of.
Who's that really good player? Oh, no, sorry. Kudus, yeah.
And who else?
That walks into our team, man.
I'm not accepting Antonio as an answer, so who else?
Yeah, so take away Antonio putting Kudus.
No, I'm not accepting Antonio as an answer.
I said Kudus.
Yeah, no, two players.
Kudus and Souček.
Oh, okay, fair enough. I'd say Kudus and Bowen, personally. I think Bowen on that left hand side would be unbelievable. Right. I love Jared Bowen, even though he plays for West Ham. I apologise for the lack of talking about the Tottenham West Ham game and the Tottenham West Ham preview. Harry got us on a tangent and we started ranting about the squad again. Isn't it nice to not be in an international break, guys? Next week, what can we talk about next week? Let me see what games there's.
Another Europa League game, I think, on the Thursday.
That's the one I'm going to. In fact, it is. We probably should have spoken about
that. Isn't it?
Yeah. Well, on Tuesday, I don't know what we're actually going to talk about, because the Europa League game's on Thursday. On Tuesday, we'll talk about whatever happened against West Ham. And
who we got on the Sunday?
Palace.
Oh, God, I hate that game.
Oh, my God, we're back-to-back London derbies. Are you joking? Hang me now, please. Okay, right. We'll talk about Palace and what happened in the West Ham game and Palace, and then the following week we'll just summarise. And I tell you what, actually, because we won't have another episode out before, we'll talk about City and Palace and West Ham next week. And we just won't talk about
we've got them in the cup on the Wednesday, don't we? Bloody hell, fun. That game is.
And then we've got Galatasaray coming up, Ipswich, City in the league, all sorts of shit.
2 weeks. Stressing about City already.
Thank you guys for listening, despite the fact that it's probably giving you earache. What a waste of time this has been. What was I saying? Thank you guys for the response as well on the TikTok and the Twitter. Scheduling the posts was so much easier. So I will be doing that from now on because it saved me so much time and I have to stress about it on a Friday. And it actually worked. So I don't know why I thought it wouldn't, but multi-million-pound companies not doing what they're asked to do.
Don't know why I thought it would. Elon Musk.
Yeah, tell me about it. Follow all the shit down below. This has been the most unserious episode we've done in a long time. Considering you watch, this will be the game we win because we're not taking it seriously in the review. Make sure you like and subscribe if you're on YouTube. Drop us a 5-star review and a follow if you're on Spotify. Thank you guys so much for the support, and we'll catch you next week. As always, I'm the fucking Spurs.